reaching beyond the borders into the unknown. Welcome to Paranormal Investigations of Oklahoma.
How's it going, everyone? Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Paranormal Investigations of Oklahoma. I am your host, Mr. Kale Epperson, and I'm so glad that everyone tuned in. If you get a chance, hit that subscribe button down at the bottom here on our YouTube channel, and go to Facebook. Find me there, like my page. If you like what you hear, just go ahead and share it. One thing I want to talk about today is shadow people. Now, this is one topic people have been asking me about, if I ever had any experiences with shadow people. I would have to say yes. Now, with this situation with this shadow person, I can't really say if it's actually a ghost, a spirit, or a demon that I saw. Perhaps what I saw could have been caused by just being really tired, being asleep, and then all of a sudden being wakened up to a loud noise, and you're kind of in between that stage of being asleep and awake, and then you see something. So was it possible I was hallucinating? Let me tell you the story. Now, this happened way before I even got into paranormal research. Even before I started ghost hunting. It was just a little bit before that. I work security. I'm a security officer, and most of the places that I work at is malls. I work at malls. When I started off in security, I did a lot of night shifts, either working 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., midnight to 8 type shifts. It's hard to sleep during the day. We all know that. Your body is just programmed to sleep at night. At nighttime, it's quiet, nothing going on. During the day, there's a bunch of noise. And this place that I lived in at the time was an apartment complex. And this apartment complex was going downhill anyway. Basically, the owners of the apartment complex just decided they were going to weed out all the decent people and kind of move in more problem people that were more into crime and stuff like that. That's why I don't live there anymore. So during this time period, I'm living in this duplex. It's one of those deals. I worked a night shift. I went to bed, and I got woke up. And when I woke up, I felt like there's this presence, like someone's in the home. And you get that gut feeling like you're being watched by someone. Now, when I wake up, I'm laying on my stomach and my arms wrapped around the pillow. And I raise myself up out of bed and I turn around and look towards the bedroom doorway. There in the doorway is this black shadow type person. You can see the outline, the head, the arms, the legs, the torso. And my first thought is, somebody broke into my house or in my duplex. I got a criminal. They just happened to walk in and find me in bed. And when the head turned towards me, this sucker had red eyes. Now, what ended up happening next is the moment I realized whatever's in front of me is not human, immediately from the doorway and on my bed, this thing or creature or spirit or whatever it was on top of me, hitting me with fists. And I remember trying to fight this thing off, thinking, what the heck is on me? And I'm pushing back, fighting back, and then all of a sudden it was gone. And I did have whelps and small bruises on me from that experience. Now, on a scientific level, people that believe in astral projection, leaving the body during sleep, some theories was, and when I explained this to the first paranormal group that I was in, was they believed I was astral projecting, and I happened to step in that realm where a malice spirit saw me and was upset that I spotted them and it attacked me. Some people told me it was a demonic spirit trying to possess my body. On a scientific level, when it comes down for their theories on astral projection and leaving your body and stuff like that, they just believe it's just your mind, you're not fully asleep yet. You're between that stage of sleep and being awake, so your mind is just hallucinating, and that's what they believe it is. So, let's just break it down. I've been trying to do some research on this because, I've been out in the paranormal field. I've been on investigations where I saw dark shadows, shadow movement. So the question is, are these black shadows, are they evil? Are they regular ghosts? What are my theories about it? Let's just break it down. Let's try to find out what's going on. Okay? I'm not saying that shadow people are real, and I'm not going to say that they're not real. Now, I had a personal experience. Now, I don't know if that personal experience was actually a ghost, monster, or demon attack me. I really don't know. But let's just break it down to you. What is a shadow person? A shadow person, also known as a shadow figure, a shadow being, or just a black mass, is the perception of a patch of shadow as a living humanoid figure, particularly as interpreted by believers in the supernatural as the presence of a malevolent entity. Now, the history behind it, a number of religions, legends, and belief systems describe shadowy spiritual beings or supernatural entities such as shades of the underworld, and various shadow creatures have long been a staple for folklore and ghost stories. Several physiological and psychological conditions can account for reports and experiences of shadow people. Some of the examples I used was sleep paralysis, illusions, or just basic hallucinations, and it's brought on by the psychological or the physiological circumstances, such as, drug use or side effects to medication, or interactions with external agents of the human body, such as high EMF or electromagnetic fields. Another reason that could be behind the illusion is sleep deprivation, which may cause and lead to hallucinations. Now, for my experience, working a night shift, long hours, lack of sleep could have been the cause of what I saw on a scientific level. Now, during that time, I'm not into drugs. I'm a very clean person. I wasn't on any medication. So that stuff I can rule out. Now, for external agents, it's a possibility. At that time, I had a cell phone. If that cell phone is too close to me, I could be picking up that EMF. You just don't know. I've never investigated that apartment complex. And today, where that apartment complex was, it's no longer there. It's been torn down, okay? Kind of upsetting. I'd have loved to go back in there and actually run a gauge meter through there to see if there was any high electromagnetic fields. The place where I was living in this duplex, it used to be old military housing. It was very, very old. So it was a possibility that it could have been just bad electrical wiring causing crazy EMF in the home, okay? Let's talk about modern folklore. The modern beliefs in shadow people really got popularized during late night radio talk shows. Now, I used to be big into these talk shows when I worked late night security. When I really got into ghost hunting and stuff, I would tune into these shows. Coast to Coast AM, Darkness Radio, different stuff like that. I want to say back in 2001 is right when the shadow people discussion really got to going. And that's when it really got to be popularized. During shows like that, listeners were encouraged to submit drawings of shadow people. A lot of people turned in stuff like that. They mailed that stuff in, emailed it, and you'd be surprised how many people had experiences dealing with shadow people. October 1st of 2001, Heidi Holz published a book on the topic of shadow people. She described them as dark silhouettes with human shapes and profiles that flicker in and out of peripheral vision, and claimed that people have reported these figures attempting to jump on their chest and choke them. She believes that they can be repelled by invoking the name of Jesus Christ. And this was kind of a similar experience that I had. Now, whatever attacked me wasn't trying to choke me. This thing was beating on me. Now, like I said, it could have been a dream, could have been a hallucination. But like I say on all of my podcasts, and when you're listening in, let's have an open mind, okay? Because I'm sure if you're listening in right now, you could say, you know what, Kale? I had a similar experience. I was attacked by a shadow person. So it's always good to hear from somebody else that's had that same experience. Now, I'm trying to keep an open mind. I have to stay on the scientific side, and I have to stay on the spiritual side of it as well. Now, on a lot of online discussion forums and blog pages just devoted to paranormal and supernatural topics, they describe shadow people as menacing. Other believers and paranormal authors do not agree whether shadow people are either evil, helpful, or neutral, and some even speculate that shadow people may be the extra-dimensional inhabitants of another universe. Some paranormal investigators have recorded images of shadow people on video. Now, in popular culture, shadow people are described as shadow men. But there's been a growing interest with the phenomena of shadow people. What are they? Are they ghosts, interdimensional beings, time travelers, demons, or just something else? What was that? You were sitting comfortable on your sofa just reading the latest issue of a magazine, and in the dim light, a movement across the room catches your attention. It seems dark and shadowy, but there's nothing there. You return to your reading, and moments later, there it is again. You look up quickly, this time, and in a fleeting instant, a distinct human shape of a shadow passing quickly over the far wall, and then it disappears. What was that? Some natural shadow? Could it be your heightened imagination? Was it a ghost? Was it a demon? Or was it something that seems to be spreading phenomena, apparitions that are coming to be known as shadow people or shadow beings? Perhaps this is an old phenomena with just a new name that is now being discussed more openly, in part thanks to the internet. Or maybe it's just a phenomena that, for some reason, is manifesting with greater frequency and intensity now. Those who are experiencing and studying shadow people phenomena say that these entities almost always used to be seen out of the corner of your eye and just very briefly. But more and more, people are beginning to see them straight on and for longer periods of time. Some experiences testify that they have seen eyes, like I have. They're usually red. At every report I usually hear when it comes to shadow people, they have red eyes. The mysterious sightings have become a hot topic of conversation in paranormal chat rooms, message boards, and websites, and is giving widespread attention on Paranormal Talk Radio. What are shadow people? Where do they come from? There are several different theories that can be offered. Part of it could be just the imagination. The explanation we get from skeptics and mainstream science, and who are usually people who never experienced shadow people phenomena before, is that it is nothing more than the active human imagination. It is our minds playing tricks on us. It's our eyes seeing things in a fraction of a second that aren't really there, just illusions. Real shadows caused by passing auto lights, or just a similar explanation. And without a doubt, these explanations probably can account for some of it, but not all of the experiences. The human eye and mind are easily fooled, but can they account for all these cases? Yes, my experience could have been caused. I sleep during the day. Is it possible that some type of shadow got my attention? I'm half awake, half asleep, and I just saw something? I don't know. Could it be ghosts? Let's talk about that. To call these entities ghosts demands first a definition of what we mean by ghosts. But by almost every definition, shadow people are somewhat different than the ghost phenomena, where ghost apparitions are almost always misty white, vaporous, or have a decidedly human form and appearance. And, some people see ghosts as wearing clothing. Shadow beings are much darker and more shadow-like. I guess that's how they got their name. In general, although the shadow people often do have human outline or shape, because they are dark, the details of their appearance is very lacking. This in contrast to many ghost sightings in which the witnesses can describe a ghost as having facial features, a style of clothing, and other details. The one detail most often noted when it comes to shadow people or shadow beings is that they have glowing red eyes. Now, could they be demons or other spirit entities? Now, one thing when it comes down with shadow people, if you want to discuss them as demons or other spiritual entities, is that they're always dark, and there's always feelings of malice and just evil that's often reported in the association with these creatures, has led some researchers to speculate that they may be dealing with something demonic in nature. If they are demons, we have to wonder what their purpose or intent is in letting themselves be seen in this manner. Is it merely to frighten us? To scare us? Another thought when it comes down with shadow people is that they're from another dimension, another time. One interesting idea suggests that shadow people are the shadows or essences of people who have had out-of-body experiences. According to Jerry Cross, an author, lecturer, and a teacher about astral travel, we all travel out of body when we sleep. Maybe they're time travelers. People from our own future, another ideal states, could have found the means to travel to our past in time. However, they are able to accomplish this incredible feat. Perhaps in that state, they appear to us merely as passing shadows as they observe the events of our timeline. Now, if they're interdimensional beings, even mainstream science is fairly convinced that there are dimensions other than the three we inhabit. And if these other dimensions exist, who or what, if anything, inhabits them at all? Some theorists say that these dimensions exist parallel or very close to our own, although invisible to us. And if there are inhabitants in these other dimensions, is it possible that they have found a way to intrude on our dimension and become at least particularly visible? If so, they could be very well shadows. It has long been held by physics and other sensitives that beings on other planes of existence are on different vibrations than what we are. Science is beginning to look at reality on a quantum level in the same way. That particulars of the smallest size extent as vibrations, perhaps during theory, these vibrations of our existence are beginning to mesh together with those from other dimensions. Maybe this accounts for the increase of such phenomena as ghosts, shadow peoples, and possible aliens. You know, mainly when I talk on my podcast, it's mainly about ghosts. This is probably the first time I really dived into shadow people, and so far I haven't even talked about aliens. But what if shadow people are aliens? Because we all know the alien and people being abducted are so bizarre that it's not surprising that extraterrestrials are suspected of being shadow people. People who are kidnapped by aliens have reported in many cases that alien greys seem to be able to pass through walls, through closed windows, to appear and disappear just like that. And they have many other world talents. Perhaps, too, they can go out of their own alien agenda to disguise themselves as shadows. There is a good deal of overlapping when it comes with the idea of shadow people. Aliens and ghosts could be interdimensional beings. Aliens could be time travelers. And some believe demons are responsible for all this disturbing phenomena. You know, a lot of religions, especially Christianity, mainly Christianity, believes that aliens, ghosts, shadow peoples are nothing more than Satan himself and his demons tricking us and steering us away from the true word, the true God. And that is one thing to keep in mind depending on your religious belief. Now, when I do these shows, again, it's not to bash religion, okay? Just keep an open mind. There is no way to prove or disprove any of these theories about the phenomena about shadow people, but the main thing is mysterious, and that the happenings are so fast and so quick, they just happen without warning. Because science finds it virtually impossible to catalog or study such phenomena. All we can do at present is to document personal experiences and try to piece together what shadow people phenomena might be. Perhaps an old mystery becoming more recognizable. Perhaps it represents a doorway to and from different planes of existence. Or perhaps it's just merely shadows. So what do you think shadow people are? At the bottom of my YouTube page, you can always comment. You tell me what you think shadow people are. When it boils down to when it comes with aliens, shadow people, astral projection, I'm not really a expert on it. I don't think no one really is. I have a friend who was I was part of his paranormal group at one time. He is more into astral projection and interdimensional beings than I am. I'm just not really into it. I'm not big into astral travel. I know some of my people that I work with in the paranormal field, they think he's pretty far out there with his theories, but who knows what's right and what's wrong. Everyone has theories when it comes with ghosts, demons, shadow people, aliens, and with him I think it's the same way. He has his own theory, and he's just trying to see if his theory fits or not. Now, I've been asked before, Kale, how do I get rid of shadow people? How do I get rid of a shadow person? The question is for right now, we don't know what they are. Now, one thing I like to say is when it comes with ghosts, when people ask me, Kale, how do you get rid of a ghost out of your house? When I do an investigation of a home, we're not in there to go in like Ghostbusters. That's not what we're here to do when we investigate a home. We're not Ghostbusters. When we go in, we investigate to determine if there's anything paranormal or not that's happening in the home. If they believe there is a ghost in the house and they want it gone, they can either have the house saged or whatever their spiritual belief is. A scientific group, it's not really their job to go in and be Ghostbusters. They're just there to determine, yes, you got something, no, you don't. But, spiritualist groups, they'll go in and they can do sagings, cleansings, blessings, and it all boils down to your religious belief. I think when it comes down with shadow people, most groups, I think, treat them like ghosts. I think a lot of spiritualist groups really think these are negative beings. And the reason why they think they're negative beings is because of the negative responses that people have with these things. So, like my experience, it was negative. I woke up from a sleep, turned around, looked at the doorway, and there was this dark shadow mass. And when that head turned, it had red eyes. And whatever this thing was, attacked me. And it's one thing I will never forget. And like I said, I don't know if it could have been caused by lack of sleep, could have been because of a high electromagnetic field, could have been anything. It could have been a demon. It could have been a negative ghost. Was it an alien? I don't know. That's where it boils down to when you're dealing with the paranormal. You just don't know what it is. Maybe one day we'll find out. Church groups, they believe none of this stuff is ghosts. They all believe it's demonic. It's all evil. And it's just a deception. Follow your heart. Deep down, you know what's right and what's wrong. Do research. If you believe you have a dark presence in your home, a ghost, shadow person, demon, I always recommend to have a experienced paranormal group to come in and investigate your home. Let them help you determine if there is something there or not. Now, you need to choose if you want a spiritual team to come in or a scientific team. But that needs to be your decision. Because either group going in, they're not going to fill your head full of lies. At least they better not be. The deal is they need to be factual with you. They need to bring you the facts. With the spiritualist group, if they do find anything, they can help you get rid of it. Now, this is all on a spiritual level. They can sage, holy water, to help remove whatever's out of there. But you got to remember, when these groups go in, they're not ghostbusters. They can't trap the ghost or spirit or monster or demon and get it out of the house. Now, one thing when it comes down with the ghost phenomena, a lot of people like to jump on the bandwagon that it's a demon. My experience in the field, demonic cases are very, very rare. Now, I'm hoping one day I can do a podcast on demons. I'm still studying up on demonology. No, I don't want people freaking out like, oh my God, Kel's studying about demons. Oh my God, oh, what's happening to him? No, in the paranormal field, we have to study this stuff. I'm not a negative person. I do believe in God. I do believe in Christ. And like everybody that listens to my podcast shows, I'm not really a religion type person. I'm more of a spiritual person. Kale, what type of church do you go to? Does it matter if I'm Catholic? Does it matter if I'm Protestant? Does it matter if I go to a Church of God? Does it matter if I go to a Baptist church? Because I'm sure, now this on a spiritual level, when I pass on, that the afterlife, God's not going to have a section just for Baptist, Protestant, or whatever. Okay? The deal is, we don't know what the afterlife is going to be about. There are people out there that are having maybe demonic cases. These shadow people are in their home, causing very negative things to happen. And us in the paranormal research field, we have to study that. I just finished watching a documentary on demons and exorcisms. And I'm not going to dive too deep into demons and stuff, because I really want to keep this on basically shadow people. I find it interesting how a lot of claimed demonic exorcisms and stuff all boil down to either somebody being upset at someone and they're just trying to get them back. On the documentary, they talked about a nun who apparently had this physical attraction to one of the priests. She was trying to seduce him. He refused her advances, so immediately she started claiming she was possessed by a demon or a devil, and she claimed that this priest was actually a witch. You know, back in those medieval times, the poor priest got killed. Their form of exorcism. There's other stories that I read up on and some documentaries that I watch when it comes with exorcisms and demons. Some of it was politically based. Some of it was attention based, depending on whoever they claimed demonic victim was. But hopefully, like I said, I don't want to dive too deep into demons. Hopefully I'll have a podcast when it comes with demons and demonic beings. But like with this one, I just want to stick with shadow people. I really don't know what these entities are. At least I can come to you and tell you that yes, I have had an experience with a shadow person. I have been out in the paranormal field where I saw shadow people moving. I've seen shadows move. Now, are these mind tricks? No, on a scientific level, it could be. I could be just hallucinating. It could be a mass hallucination amongst the group. We don't know what we're seeing. On a spiritual level, I know some of you tuning in may be psychics and mediums. I'm sure you guys see this stuff a lot. You guys have abilities. You're seeing this stuff on a day-to-day basis. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Myself, I do believe people do have abilities. You know, I've seen on Facebook and stuff, I think there's a lot of wannabe psychics, a lot of wannabe mediums. But I do believe there are people with abilities. I know people with abilities. But you guys know what I'm talking about. You've been out in the field, you had these impressions, and you know there's something out there that exists. Now, you don't know if it's a demon or not. You don't know if it could be an alien. You don't know if these shadow people with red eyes, you don't know what they are. But you know they're there. You see them at the corner of your vision. You may have seen them dead on. We just don't know what they are. I wish I had more information when it comes down with shadow people about what they are. But to tell you the truth, there's not a lot of stuff pertaining to shadow people except for the experiences out there. If you had experiences with dealing with shadow people or had an experience of being attacked by a shadow person, let me know. Put a comment down on my YouTube channel just underneath this video. Get on my Facebook page, But hey, Kale, this is my experiences with shadow people. Because I would like to hear about it. With the phenomena of shadow people, it's very similar to people with demonic cases. They're very, very rare. I've seen a lot of weird crap. I ain't gonna lie to you. But it doesn't happen on every investigation. Just my recommendation when it boils down with shadow people, demonic beings, or anything like that, just always use caution. Okay, folks? Well, this wraps it up with this episode of Paranormal Investigations of Oklahoma. I'm glad that everyone tuned in with me today. If you get a chance, hit that subscribe button down at the bottom on my YouTube page. Like me on Facebook, folks. You have any questions or concerns? Or you just want to tell me about your ghost stories or your shadow people experiences? Just comment below. And I'll talk with you folks later.